not done yet. Amen. Turn your Bibles to Acts chapter 14. Really feel honored to be amongst you. We love the Hawaiian brothers and sisters. You know, we admire in history all those that are willing to push the envelope. All those that are willing to take risks. All those that are willing to speak boldly against the status quo.
Come on, bro.
Nelson Mandela serves as a great example as someone who spoke against civil injustice during his time. He's remembered by saying the following: "Our struggle has reached a decisive moment. We call on our people to seize the moment so that the process towards democracy is rapid and uninterrupted. We've waited too long for our freedom. We can no longer wait. Now is the time to intensify the struggle on all fronts. Our march to freedom is irreversible. We must not allow fear to stand in our way." Although very noble what Mr. Mandela did and fought for, this morning I put before you that we face an even more serious injustice in our day. One that involves spiritual injustice, spiritual slavery, that is not just affecting one country or one continent, but the entire world. Therefore, the moment has reached for decisive action for the saints of the mainland and the islands to rise up and speak boldly for the Lord. And that is the title of my charge: speaking boldly for the Lord. My first point: the messenger must be accredited. Let's start in Acts 14 and in verse 1. At Iconium, Paul and Barnabas went as usual into the Jewish synagogue. There they spoke so effectively that a great number of Jews and Greeks believed. The Jews who refused to believe stirred up the other Gentiles and poisoned the minds against the brothers. So Paul and Barnabas spent considerable time there, speaking boldly for the Lord, who confirmed the message of His grace by enabling them to perform signs and wonders.
Come on, bro.
The Bible says here that Paul and Barnabas were on a missionary journey. And they reached the city of Iconium, which today is modern Turkey. And they went as usual to the synagogue to preach God's word. The word apostle, we know, means messenger. And they had great success in Iconium. A lot of people came to believe. Scholars say that they spoke to hundreds and even thousands of people. What's interesting is that their speaking proved to be so effective. Why? Because it produced wonders and signs. It produced miracles. God confirmed their message. See, once it was confirmed, they were enabled to do such things. The word confirmed in the Greek means to bear witness, to affirm. It's as if God was saying, here's my stamp of approval. Because despite the opposition, despite the challenges, despite the difficulties, they kept speaking boldly for God. See, the creation of miracles has always been God's way of accrediting the messenger. This is the same thing that happened to Moses, to Elijah, to Ezekiel, and to Jesus Christ Himself. In the book of Acts chapter 2, the Bible says Jesus of Nazareth was a man accredited by God. To you by miracles, wonders, and signs which God did among you through Him, as you yourselves know. See, when God accredits, there is growth. Why are some disciples growing faster than others? The problem is not the message. It's not like the message has lost its power. The problem is how we are delivering the message to ourselves and to those around us. You know, it's like if a brother comes up to me and says, "Bro, I really want to be a Bible talk leader." That's a noble thing to desire, amen? And I ask him a few questions. So, bro, tell me something. What time do you wake up in the morning? Well, About 10 o'clock. Hey man, I put my hand on the shoulder. Well, how long are your quiet times? Well, I mean, it's about 30 minutes. So I give 15 to prayer, I give 15 to reading. But I'm really learning a lot, bro. I'm reading the book of John. How long have you been a Christian, my brother? About 5 years. And he's a brother with a desire to do great things. Yeah. But the message he's delivering to himself is not pushing him to greatness. The message of Christ is supposed to call us to do incredible things. It's supposed to revive our soul. It's supposed to lead us to boldness. This was God's command to Ezekiel in the Valley of Bones. All Ezekiel saw was a desolate land. Dry bones, the Bible says. The likelihood of miracles in that area seemed quite dim. What's God's solution? Let's read it in Ezekiel chapter 18. Come on, bro. It's in the Old Testament. Yeah, a little bit. In case the coffee hasn't kicked in. You got some cranky coffee here in Honolulu. I'm staying away from Starbucks. In Ezekiel chapter 18 and in verse 8, the Bible says, after God kind of puts them in this land of desolate wasteland, Ezekiel says, I looked and the tendons and flesh appeared on them and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath, prophesy, Son of Man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come, breathe from the four winds and breathe into these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army.
Come on, bro.
See, when the message is not bold, it prevents faith from being breathed into the souls of men and women. It cuts your ability to create miracles. It cuts your ability to be effective in the work of God. Where there is no fruitfulness, there is no boldness.
Come on, bro.
Where there is no boldness is where faithlessness has been allowed to grow.
Come on, bro.
This is why timidity, cowardice, and insecurity. Let me say it again. This is why timidity, cowardice, and insecurity will kill your miracle ability.
Come on, bro.
The supernatural is only produced by removing what's natural.
Nice.
If you don't do that, you get stuck and you dry up. I was watching a video actually entitled ICOC 3.0. I got baptized in the old movement in 1994.
Come on, bro.
During a time where we were forcefully advancing. We had a plan to go to every nation.
Right.
Just like we have it today.
Yeah.
But then things dried up.
Right.
And it's been 15 years since that happened. So I was listening to this video, and what a prominent leader in that fellowship, Doug Arthur, is quoted saying the following. In 2017, we are still stuck. 2% is the average growth globally, and it's been that way for several years. Let me kind of paint the picture in parallel. In San Francisco, we're about 215, about 220 disciples. 4% growth meant that we would have had 4.5 baptisms last year. We had almost 100 baptisms.
Amen.
And this is the percentage of growth globally. He says that 13 out of 31 regional churches are shrinking. 70% of churches are under 100. And 111 churches had 0 baptisms the previous year. Why is there a lack of miracles? Why is there a lack of forceful advancements? because they lack the messengers who will deliver the message boldly. As a result, there's a lack of miracles.
Yeah. Amen.
They're paralyzed by fear and living in reaction to the past.
Right.
You need to be grateful this morning for the leaders among you, for the Garridos, for the Smalls, for the Kellys, for Kyle, for Mel. Let's give them a round of applause. These are heroes in the faith. These are men and women who are willing to call you to go anywhere.
Yeah.
They are calling you to give up everything and do anything for the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Yeah. Come on.
See, the messenger must be accredited by God.
Yeah.
But you must be full of faith.
Yeah.
I was dried up for about 10 years.
Come on, bro.
I never stopped going to church. I was even a Bible talk leader. I served in the kids' kingdom ministry. The 3rd and 4th graders, that'll challenge your faith right there. Man, you want to like work on your faith? Go to the 3rd and 4th graders. The sad thing is, I was considered one of the most committed people, my wife. So I was dried up. More faith in me. I couldn't see the miracles in my marriage. Miracles around me. I hadn't been in the Bible study for years. And when I came into the new movement, kid you not, it was the day it got restored. I said, bro, we're going to a Bible study. I was in a Bible study, and I'm an older dude. I mean, I'm pretty young still, right? Amen. It's all relative, right? So I'm in this circle with the brothers, and they know they're in this sword fight. I mean, they're looking at this, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all the studies. I didn't know where to turn to.
Come on, bro.
That's how dry I was. You gotta make sure that you leave this workshop
Come on, bro.
working on that faith. Because there's no way you'll be able to go back to your island to create miracles unless you're accredited by God. Are you with me? Let's go back to Acts chapter 14. Point number 2.
Preach it, bro.
The messenger must never shrink back. Acts 14. We'll pick it up where we left off in verse 4.
Let's go, bro. Come on, bro.
The people of the city were divided. Some sided with the Jews, others with the apostles. There was a plot afoot among both Gentiles and Jews together with their leaders to mistreat them and stone them. But they found out about it and fled to Lycaonian cities of Lystra and Derbe and to the surrounding country, where they continued to preach the gospel. See, where there is great miracles, you can't expect great opposition.
Come on, bro.
The Bible says here that those who refuse to believe stirred up so much opposition that they poisoned the minds of believers. If they had the mediums we have today to poison people, they would be using them today, back in those days.
Yeah.
They would be on the internet. They would be on YouTube. And that was what was going on here. They were poisoning the minds of the people. This was an intentional, malicious effort to oppose the messengers.
Come on,
But
bro.
what does Paul and Barnabas do? They refuse to stop.
Amen.
Come on, bro.
They deal with the challenge head on. The Bible says that they spend considerable time there, speaking boldly for God. It was so bold that the entire city was divided. Imagine how the Lulu divided because of the message that's being spoken boldly in this island. That's what's going on back then. But Paul did the math. He said, all right, I know the risk involved in being bold. But he did not wait. He continued being bold in his preaching. He was willing to pay the price. He knew that the price for miracles meant putting himself on the line.
Amen.
You know, this past June when we took over the region in San Jose,
Come on.
It's been exciting. It's really been exciting what God's been doing.
Come on.
But the ministry was plagued with faithlessness. It's not that they weren't working hard.
Come on,
They were working hard. But they lacked the faith to create the miracles.
Come on, bro.
They had seen very little growth. So because of the opposition, maybe not physically they had stopped, but in their hearts, they had stopped being bold.
Wow.
So we land there, and in June, I rally the group and say we have one campaign. We go hard or we go home.
Nice.
Come on.
In June, we had 0 baptisms.
Come on.
We're back.
Hold on, you just said go hard or go home. Are you going to go home? All right, July, 0 baptisms.
Come on.
Come on.
All right, God's here to test my faith there, you know? July. So June, July, 0. August, 7 additions. September, 2 additions. But then 2 fell away because of persecution.
Wow.
Their parents came. I remember being in the church service where the mom of the young man, the college student, came to service. She was pacing outside of the worship service because she did not want us to baptize her son. The guy gets baptized, and then later on that evening, just disappears. We got opposition again because great miracles were happening.
Yeah.
October, 4 additions.
Nice.
But we've been on this path before. We saw great miracles. We knew opposition was coming.
Yeah.
1 fell away because of persecution again. November, 2 additions. And we close the year with 3 additions in December. Amen. The Lord gave this small region of 15 additions in such a short period of time. See, God will test your resilience.
Yeah.
He will allow opposition because He knows that if you push through, then greater miracles will happen.
Yes. Come on, Kanoa.
The reason why some of us don't see the miracle be quick too soon. Miracles take an investment of time. You get what you put in.
Yeah.
Paul knew the price of a miracle. He said, it is worth it. I will go through it. I will do the pain that it requires. I will take it. What is going to happen in 2019 for the churches in the islands? What is going to prevent you from seeing the miracles that God wants to see? It's not staying sold out. Self-preservation, defined as the protection of oneself from harm or death, the fear of pain, or the temptation to minimize it. See, the roads to miracles are paved with opposition. They're paved with challenges. When Paul and Barnabas go back to Iconium, we'll keep reading here. Look what happens when they go to the next door city. In verse 19. Then some Jews came from Antioch and Iconium and won the crowd over. They stoned Paul and dragged him outside the city, thinking he was dead. But after the disciples had gathered around him, he got up and went back into the city. God said, I'm going to give you a pass in Iconium, but the challenges are just around the corner.
Yeah.
But if you don't give up,
Yeah.
you will see great miracles.
Yeah.
Look at verse 21. They preached the gospel in that city and won a large number of disciples. Then they returned to Lystra, Iconium, and Antioch. See, we must go through many hardships to enter the kingdom of God.
Come on, bro.
Some of you have faced challenges this past year of different degrees, of different difficulties. Some of you have lost jobs. Some of you have lost relationships. Some of you have lost hope, honestly. Have your dreams ever coming to fruition? I put before you this morning that the miracles are just around the corner. But you must choose to persevere. You must choose to learn to love the journey and not just the destination. Remember, there is no miracle. There is no miracle of the cross resurrection without Jesus going through it.
Yeah. Sure.
Jesus did not shrink back from the pain. He looked at it boldly and said, what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour? No, it was for the very hour that I came. See, he understood the moment of truth.
Yeah.
If I rise to the occasion, I will be the miracle. See, the miracles for the islands rest right here.
Yeah.
Will you rise?
Come on.
Will you rise? Will this be the moment when you say, enough of giving it?
Amen.
Enough of dealing with that character flaw in me.
Yeah.
I am going to overcome this year.
Amen.
Fernando.
He knew Satan was trying to rob him of the miracle
Come on.
by robbing him of his own cross.
Wow.
Oh, let's say rob you of your cross. We're supposed to live on a cross.
Amen.
When we don't boldly call ourselves to this level of standards, then we don't see miracles. You must be willing to call each other to this.
Yeah.
There was a sister in San Jose, her name is Cara. A great college student, fired up disciple. She went back to LA for the winter because of the holidays and whatnot, and she had made plans to stay in Los Angeles, and we have a great church in LA. She was planning to go to the winter workshop there. So she tells her dad, hey Dad, I'm going to go to this thing called the winter workshop. And ever since she got converted, her dad has not been very fired up on anything that she's doing about God, or the movement, or anything else. So he's like, you are not going to no winter workshop. And she's like, you know, really freaked out. They're like, man, I want to go, and this and that. But so proud of her, because she stood up to her dad and said, Dad, look, I'm going to go to the winter workshop.
Let's
And
go.
I'll actually ask your permission. Yeah. I'm going to go. And so she called Jackie, and I can overheard the conversations like, come on, that is awesome. Being bold.
Yeah.
But it said, Cara needs to really be with the family in the Bay.
Yeah.
We got to call her to come to San Francisco for the winter workshop.
Right.
So we said, sis, I get on the phone, because sometimes Dad's got to step in. I said, sis, how you doing? Great job standing up to your dad. But here's the thing, sis. And I read the passage in Joshua chapter 1 where Moses transitions the ministry to Joshua, and he had a moment where he had to rise to the occasion and say, this is your moment.
Come on.
You got to go back to your dad,
Yeah.
and you got to say, look, Dad, I'm not going to go to the winter workshop, but I'm going to go to San Francisco. And I'll be back. And she was like, okay. Shaking her boots a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm so proud of her because she went back and had a conversation with her dad and said just that. And not only that, but her dad was kind of restricting her on where she should live, on who she should be involved with and whatnot. She's in a sorority in San Jose State. And the reality is that she said, you know what, here's the thing, Dad, I'm going to move in with where I need to move into. And I'm going to be going to church, and I'm going to be doing these things. But there needed to be someone in her life who's calling her not to shrink back.
Yeah.
Those who become effective have learned to push through the pain.
Amen. I'm a bro.
And that's when growth happens.
Yeah.
Some of us have become religious in our walk with God.
Come on, bro.
Facts, bro.
We live in a society where Christianity is about getting an injection every weekend. It's a spiritual high. And we gotta make sure we don't fall into that, amen? We gotta be disciples who fight.
Yes.
You know, back in last year, I said, you know what? I am really going to go after imitation in my own walk with God. And I'm going to imitate everything I can from the brothers in my life. In this case, Jason's in my life. So I said, I'm going to imitate his schedule. What time does this guy wake up? I said, okay, he wakes up before the sun goes up. All right, I'm going to imitate that. And then I said, okay, what else can I imitate from this guy? Oh, he works out a lot. Okay, man. Pretty big guy. Hitting the weights hard. I gotta imitate that. So I'm pumping some iron myself, but not at his level just yet. But I'm working on it. Here's the interesting thing about muscle growth. In order to produce muscle, you're going to apply a load of stress greater than the muscle has previously adapted to. How do you do this? The main way is to lift progressively heavier and heavier weights. This additional tension is what creates muscle growth. Some of us, the moment we start feeling the pressure of the kingdom, we start feeling the pressure of our brothers and sisters kind of pushing us to greatness, we go the opposite way. You're like, man, I want to grow, I want to do this, I want to go on the mission team. But they put on the 20 pounds and you're giving up. It doesn't matter where you start. Progressively you're adding more and more. And God knew that with Paul and Barnabas. He's like, at Iconium, I'm going to give you some opposition. That's as much as you can handle right now. Alright, you had some victories. Awesome. Go to the next city. And there he literally got stoned. Dragged. To the point where they thought this guy is flat dead. Dust himself off? Well, I guess go straight up again. Where have you allowed yourself to plateau in your walk with God? Where have you gotten easy? When you know, I can push myself more. We cannot allow ourselves to shrink back. This is the year of boldness. You cannot begin to calculate the risk ahead. You know, for a married man with 3 kids and 1 crazy dog, I would agree with that. If I calculate the risk of what I'm trying to pursue and what I believe is my calling, the risk tells me this is the wrong move. You are moving from city to city. You are spending more money. You're never paying so much rent in your life. Like, from a mathematical perspective, the risk is telling me this is no good. But that requires no faith. When I left Portland, I called Jay and said, bro, I think I got 2 cities I'm thinking of going to. How all was that? San Diego or LA? He says, he just sent me a quick text. Coming up. So, hey bro, what's up? Bro, you gotta move to San Francisco. I said, bro, I did the math already. I mean, honestly, like, it just financially would make like 0 cents. He said, bro, you have stopped making decisions like a Christian. I got up that phone and said, hon, we're moving to San Francisco. Imagine if this group, just this group, imagine if this group made one decision that I hope we all have in common. That we want to be fruitful this year. But we kind of moved the clock a little bit and didn't give us up until the end of the year. But see, you know what? I want to be fruitful for the first half of the year. This morning, I hope that you leave here in one way. Challenged to make decisions that will push you to greatness. That you will change your schedule if you need to, if you feel called to the full-time ministry. Willing to change your job, willing to change your living situations, willing to leave and leave anything if you have to. What I see before me today are those who do not want to shrink back. I see a group of totally committed disciples of all ages, some young, some more mature, of various backgrounds and personalities, who want to be bold, who want to be pushed, who want to be And our greatest weakness lies in giving up.
Wow.
The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. 1 Peter chapter 4, let's close there. And in verse 11. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God.
Amen.
Brothers and sisters, this morning, let's be the messengers who are accredited by God.
Yes.
Let us be the messengers who will stop at no cost
Amen.
until we see our cities evangelized.
Yes.
I'd like to close with my revised version of Nelson Mandela's speech.
Come on, brother.
Brothers and sisters, our struggle has reached a decisive moment. The call is for every disciple to seize this very moment. Let the process towards evangelizing the world in our generation be rapid and uninterrupted. We have waited too long for people's spiritual freedom. We can no longer wait. Now is the time to intensify the struggle on all fronts. Now is the time to fight. Now is the time to persevere. Now is the time to speak boldly for the Lord, and to God be all the glory.
Guys, let's give it up for Fernando Chavez. Kip asked me to bring some people with us to this. I think we need to call it a New Year's workshop.
Amen.
Okay.
It's all winner.
It's like false advertising. But Kip asked me to bring some people with us, and everybody in the whole church raised their hand. And obviously not everybody, a lot of it was emotional. They didn't really have the finances to go. Everybody wanted, the spirit was willing. But there was a couple that we really wanted to bring, and that was the Chavezes. Because, really honestly, I felt that they can encourage you. And I think they would be encouraged as well. Because the Chavezes, I believe, are leading in an incredible way right now. And I've been very inspired by them, their example. And I think what preached very loud this morning is their example. And many of us, this is not our first rodeo. We've been in the kingdom a while. And there's a time, my father is a professional poker player. Has been a very long time. And there's a saying in the poker world called all in. And as God would have it, I got to plant the church in Las Vegas. And we have a custom when you go out and you plant the church from Los Angeles that they make you a cake that's emblematic of the city you're going to. And so what else would they make our cake of than a poker table? And the chips were being pushed into the center and it said all in. And I really want to call us in the Hawaiian Islands, and I believe that is the call from Fernando's lesson is in 2019, let's ante up and let's push the chips all in.
Come on.
Let's just go, we're going to throw off everything that hinders. If we all make a decision to speak boldly for the Lord, and we sign up for the death and the persecution and all that entails, if they went down there unpaid to the smallest region, it was only, 18 people I think it was, and it wasn't a triumphant group, and they had 19 editions in the first 6 months, what can this group do? I believe they can do even greater things. Let's be all in. Let's do great things in 2019. Thank you, Fernando.